Last night's game, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I thought it was a great game, and it just shows how competitive teams are. In any given day, any team can win, and the one that makes the big plays is always going to come out on top.
Well, you know, that's what Paul Brown used to tell us. The team that makes the least amount of mistakes is going to win.
And that's proven last night.
Well, I tell you, Tom Brady is my guy, you know, because of the professionalism that he shows, but also the strategic approach that he has to winning. Now, when you take out his main target, is it Gronkowski, the tight end? If you take that guy out and he's injured like he was last night, then, you know, it just lessens his chances. But some of the mistakes that they made, and we can always second guess after the game, but some of those drop passes could have probably helped them win that game. You think?
Well, they recovered a couple of those fumbles. They probably would have won the game too. But, you know, Wes Walker makes that catch 100 out of 100 times.
I agree.
That's just unfortunately. But, you know, the better team won.
Exactly. And I have nothing against them, because when they had their resurgence after their 7-7 time in the season, when they had all the injuries on the defensive line and they started coming back, I started getting a little nervous about the New York Giants, man, because they had a team already, and the missing pieces was that defensive line. And when they came back, I mean, they got serious.
Well, I just knew New England was going to win, especially when they come back. They goes in 1 point ahead. The first quarter and the third quarter, they march right down and score. I just know this is going to be a blowout.
Well, I agree with you 100%, Pete. Now listen, we played at the Super Bowl in 1982. What's your remembrance of that, and what's your finest Super Bowl that you've ever watched? Let's go. Let's do both of those.
Well, I tell you what, I really enjoyed New England Rams Super Bowl. To me, I thought that was the best Super Bowl ever that I've seen. And, you know, New England ended up winning it, you know, with a field goal, you know, right there at the end of the game. But, you know, they had a bunch of no-name players, and they came back and they beat the Rams, and that was awesome.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then the year we went to the Super Bowl, I don't know if you can remember, but probably after the fourth game, and everybody realized the Super Bowl was going to be in Detroit, and we said, hey, I guess we'll go now. They should never have a Super Bowl, and we ended up going.
Hey, Pete, do you remember when we were going out there and we were riding at 30,000 feet and the plane dropped to 19,000 feet? The stewardess and the stewardess were crying, and the plates and all that stuff was falling on the floor. All I could do was sit. Exactly. All I could do was sit there in my chair. I couldn't move. I was frozen. I said, it can't end like this. It can't. We're on our way to the Super Bowl, and we're going to crash in the daggone plane.
Oh, no, it wasn't going to happen.
God was with us that day. Well, listen, you are in Columbus, Ohio, correct?
I'm still in Columbus here. They try to get rid of me, but they can't.
They can't, man. I tell you what, you're a rock star in Columbus. Every time I come to Columbus and I tell people that I'm going to see Petey Wheatstraw, they say, are you going to bring him to the club? I said, man, Pete don't do nothing for free no more. They want autographs, they want jerseys, I said, you bring your checkbook along with that now.
Oh, yeah, you need to do that now. 'Cause, you know, we always trying to do stuff for the kids, and, you know, unfortunately, the only thing we got right now is our autographs and stuff we can help, you know, pay forward, what he always says, and that's what we do.
Well, Pete, what are you doing in the community now? Because you've always been strong in the community there in Ohio. What's going on with that?
Well, you know, we got the Dave Ventura Foundation, which support autism, kids with autism. We've been doing the golf out in about 15 years, and we do the only football camp for kids with autism. We've been doing it for the last 5 years, and it's just been such a rewarding feeling to be able to do that. And when you see those kids get out there, you know, and we're not tackling or anything, but just the response from them and the parents and crying and the doctors and stuff, it just makes you feel so good, GB, you can't wait till the next time.
Well, I'm still waiting on my invitation to be involved in some kind of way, because you're always with me when I do something.
Oh, you know that. Well, we had to get you to Columbus this year, and but you know, with that foundation Foundation and Pro Care Academy, you be doing some great work yourself, and it seems like we always doing stuff at the same time, which is a good thing.
Well, I tell you what, we're lining up our golf tournaments again because you helped me make that one out in Portland a very big success, and it got our sponsors to a point where now they want to expand to do 3 of them a year. So I will I'll definitely keep you posted on that.
Well, that's great, and you know, I tell you what, and people that don't know the thing some of these athletes do, it ain't only, you know, you only read about them when they do bad things, but there's so many athletes like yourself, Isaac, Archie, Lewis, that doing great things in the community, and I just want to commend you for it and just hope you keep up the good work.
And that's right back at you, Pete. Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you coming on, taking the time out of your busy schedule, and I will give you a shout when I get to Columbus.
All right, make sure you do that. And you know, anything I can do, you know I'm always there.
Okay, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right, God bless you.
You too. Coming up, you're going to hear from Chris Doleman, who was just selected last Saturday in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much.
What is it that makes us different here?
You know how to do number 13?
Yes, ma'am.
Say it. Who?
Sweet friend bringing me a castle.
Maybe it's knowing when to help. Check one of the Project Share boxes on your power bill and help someone who really needs it.
Waiting for something to amaze me. That's when it happened. Right in front of me.
You haven't seen it until you've seen it in Charter HD. Call now to add Charter HD for only $5 more a month and watch all your favorite programs in HD. Charter, let it all in.
This is Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. You're watching Cooking with the Pros.
Hey, we'd like to show you a little bit of that clip from last week where we talked to Chris Doleman, who was nominated for the National Football League's Hall of Fame. Well, he's in now. We want to show you a little bit of that clip. Talk to me about 100 sacks, man. Was there ever a time when it became reality, or was it just a dream that you started as a child? I mean, bring me up to speed.
Well, you know, Gary, when you're playing, you're not sitting up there and saying, I'm going to have a 100-sack career. You don't say, I'm going to lead the league in anything other than being the best player that you can be for your team. You know, when you look back at it, it's an impressive body of work, but I mean, you know, it doesn't happen in a season, it doesn't happen in 5 seasons or 10 seasons. I mean, it's a whole career that you're looking at there. And at no point in time, you know, you have one year might be better than the other year, but at no point in time you're sitting up there saying that, you're crushing record books. You just go out and play. And my thing was, and my payoff always has been, is that making sure on game day I am the best I can be for my teammates. There's a lot of synergy. I mean, there's a lot. I'm telling you, last year when I was a finalist, you had your calls and all this other stuff, but you were a dark horse. It has very little to do with actual numbers. I mean, there's a lot of things that come in, into their decision-making process. I'm not privy to every single thing, but I know that you're just not looking at a guy's, sack totals, tackles, and years played. You're not doing that. But there are a number of things that they do take in consideration, and one of the things is that anybody that's an all-time leader, a Jerry Rice, an Emmitt Smith, Bruce Smith, those guys are going to get first ballot deals. So, and the thing that I look at this class that we have, and it's a great class. I mean, everybody who's listed deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Everybody who's listed, there's a 97% chance that you're going to make it. And I don't see many 3%ers out there that saying, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be that one that not make it. I mean, from Jerome Bettis to Curtis Martin to, Charles Haley on down. I mean, they're all great players. And we played in, and I would like to think that we played in one of the more dominant years of the NFL. I think when we played in, there was a lot of competition. There was a lot of great players. It's not limited on great players. And I mean, it was just, you look at every team had pass rushers. Every team, not everybody had great quarterbacks, but I mean, 2 years prior to me coming into the league, that class of '83, they had nothing but great quarterbacks coming out. From Kelly Moon to Marino to Esiason to, it was just player after player after player after player. So, and you already had guys like Montana and Rogan and, some really big names that were already in there. Even Elway was, came out in '83. So, I mean, you played the best football against the best quarterbacks over an NFL career. And that is pretty cool when you think back on it. Because, I mean, you look at John Elway, you look at Brett Favre. I played against Brett Favre. I mean, for years. I mean, you look at Marino, you look at Steve Young, you look at Montana. I mean, these guys were my contemporaries. And when you kind of size all that up, and you're saying, okay, he played against some pretty good guys, and he put a lot of them on their back. I mean, this guy was doing his thing. They quit developing pass rushers. We weren't like fruit that just fell off a tree. I mean, they developed, us being players. I mean, it was all of a developing process. And to watch that, knowing that we're playing the Washington Redskins, and you're going to line up against Doug Williams or Schrader or even Theismann. I mean, you still got Dexter Manley and Charles Mann on the other side. I mean, those are two forces. You got Philadelphia. You had Reggie White and Clyde Simmons, forces. You did Tim Harris and Bryce Pop, forces up in Green Bay. I mean, every team. You had Lee Williams and Leslie O'Neal in San Diego. But you had Youngblood and Kevin Green out in with the Rams. I mean, you always had a tandem, two guys that was definitely going to bring it.
Well, and that's why I don't, I'm not all bubbly over Drew Brees breaking Danny Marino's record because, there's nobody out there that's going to challenge him. There's no defensive ends. There's no set of defensive ends every week and set of defensive tackles that are going to put the pressure on him to stop him. So this guy's got like a freeway to sit there and just throw the ball, and that's where it is. But that's another story. We'll continue to talk about that. But Chris, I know you got to go, and I really do appreciate you coming. But before you go, I want to talk about the Lunch with the Heroes program that we're doing with your organization. Tell us a little bit about, or tell our fan base a little bit about how that works.
Well, first of all, it's Chris Doleman Pro Auctions. And what we do is basically our company is geared for helping charities, large and small, to raise money through an online auction site. I own the auction site. I developed the auction site. We do advertising and bring that auction experience to a charity that might not have the money to go out and use a big box auction site. We are a Atlanta-based company. We're local. We decided to do these Heroes Lunches because we felt that experiences and that interaction with your favorite player, your favorite athlete, was worth more than someone who's just sitting up here signing a jersey that you don't know that if that person really signed it or not. So to have that ability to do that and to bring a wonderful experience into a charity that might not even have access to an Eric Dickerson or Archie Griffin or L.C. Greenwood. These things, it really opens the doors for your charitable fundraising to offer those kind of experiences, having lunch, with me. I mean, you got Hall of Famers, you got guys who are, part of history, NFL royalty, and to be able to share all that on with a charity it's just a great feeling. You know, I didn't want to get, you know, I could have started my own tournament and competed for the same charitable dollars that everybody else is going after. But, you know, I said it just makes more sense to be another part of another cog in the wheel to help charities make money, to help them with their causes and their exposure and all this. So, I mean, that was the thing that drove me to develop this. And after watching Joe Namath, you know, a couple years ago, playing his tournament, he brought in 100 athletes. They played over 3 courses, and we had a nor'easter that came up the coast. Joe couldn't even get in town. It was a mess. I mean, he lost that tournament. They were the second largest fundraiser for the March of Dimes. They lost over $1 million.
Oh,
over $1 million. So they're usually pulling in, you know, 1.8, 1.6, and you know, they lost over $1 million. They lost their shirt because you still got to fly guys in. You still got to take care of their housing. You still got to take care of, you know, meals and all these other little things and bag fees and goodie bags and all this other stuff that you're getting for these guys. And there's no tournament. And cart rentals, you know, course rental. I mean, they don't care if you're washed out. You paid us. You didn't get a good day. Sorry. Next week we got somebody else, so we can't bump them. So, you know, you just end up losing. It might give you some of your money back. You know, very, very few people sit up and say, okay, here's 3 courses of free rounds all day long. You know, they're not going to do that. They're not in the business to do that. And I think it's an exposed risk for charities when they go ahead and book a tournament, not knowing how the outcome may be, not knowing that it could be a tornado, it could be any kind of natural disaster or national disaster that can cause you, prevent you from having your event. But if you're online, because you're running it prior to the event, you're running it post-event, you still have the ability to raise your money and not be affected by, you know, the outcome of a bad day.
well, I'll tell you, my friend, I am so glad that you told me about this and we could, you know, incorporate it into our fundraising avenues for Pro Start Academy. And I look forward to working with you in the future. And I do appreciate you coming on and taking the time out of your busy day to talk to us.
Man, I appreciate everything.
All right, Chef Leroy is going to be up. Let's see what he's cooking next.
Something to amaze me. That's when it happened. Right in front of me.
You haven't seen it until you've seen it in Charter HD. Call now to add Charter HD for only $5 more a month and watch all your favorite programs in HD. Charter, let it all in.
At David's Discount Pharmacy, our pharmacist and employees are here to make your visit a pleasant one. You're sure to find our everyday low prices are the lowest around. We honor all Medicare plans and accept most third-party insurance. We sell over 400 generic drugs at tough-to-beat prices. You will be amazed at how much money you can save by having your prescriptions filled at David's Discount Pharmacy. For great discounts and fast, friendly, professional service, come to David's Discount Pharmacy in Summerton.
Here at the Charter International Dateline facility, scientists have 1 foot in today and 1 foot literally in tomorrow to bring Charter customers the latest thing. Oh, it's Casual Friday over here. Like switching your phone service from AT&T, Verizon, or CenturyLink, Charter guarantees to cut your phone bill in half. Speaking of cutting things in half, where's the rest of those pants?
This is Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. You're watching Cooking with the Pros.
And we're back with Cooking with the Pros. Chef, what do you got for us now?
Tonight, well today, it's not nighttime as yet, but today what I'm doing is a vegetarian chicken quesadilla.
Okay.
So a lot of people in America now is going towards the healthy alternative. And a lot of people are becoming vegan or vegetarians. So they're trying to get off of the meats, beef, red meats, and now they're eating vegetarian. A lot of people can't find vegetarian items when they go to different restaurants because they're not serving.
Okay.
So it's now another way where you can cook for yourself and still enjoy a great meal. So,
well, in that same path, tell me the difference. What is a vegan? I mean, what can you eat as a vegan?
Well, vegans do not eat any cheese. They don't eat any dairy. They only eat basically lettuce, and they eat soy. Now, if the soy contains any egg products, they're not going to eat it.
Okay.
So vegan is very, very strict. Now, vegetarians, there are different types of vegetarians. You have vegetarians that only eat fish. You have vegetarians that only eat soy products. And then you only have vegetarians who eat dairy and other meats, like the soy meats that we have.
Okay. So basically what you just told me is I'm not going to be either or of those things.
No, either you're vegan or vegetarian. You
but I'm not going to be either of those two.
Well, after I
make this, I'm gonna have a steak.
After I make this, I guarantee you'll be like, wow.
Okay.
And by like you say, being a diabetic, you'll look at the different alternatives.
Okay.
And put it together. So what I'm gonna first do is I'm gonna throw the chicken in.
Okay.
Now this chicken is a Morningstar product. Morningstar is one of the leading companies that do meats.
Okay.
For vegetarians. You hear the sizzling?
Ooh.
Hear it sizzle even more. So we're gonna season this up here with a little bit of parsley.
Okay.
Secret ingredient. Can't tell you what that is.
Now, do you make the secret ingredient?
Yeah, I can't tell you what that is. That's got some garlic. Now in the Caribbean, my cuisine is Caribbean fusion.
Okay.
And I like to fuse different Caribbean dishes with traditional American, traditional Indian, traditional Asian. All different types of cuisines I fuse together.
Okay.
And my go-to seasoning from the Caribbean is called sazon.
Sazon?
Sazon.
Sazon?
Yes, it's a little bit, it's a orange seasoning, and on the packet it says a little bit of magic inside its packet. So you can't know what's in it either.
Okay.
So we got a little bit of thyme, we got a little black pepper, and we're gonna make this happy.
Okay.
Now, we're gonna get our tortilla going while that's getting happy.
Now, do you put anything in the pan for the tortilla to cook, or any oil or anything like that?
Because we're being healthy.
Okay.
Now, if you want to be fat,
no, I don't.
You can add butter. You can add oil. You got all kind of things to make it nice and greasy and juicy. But we're trying to be healthy. So, the cheese I have here is Monterey Jack and cheddar.
Okay.
So it's a blend, and it's shredded fine. Reason why it's shredded fine is because you use less of it. Less calories, less cholesterol.
Well, I tell you what, my friend Frank Soto Sandy made some of these last week, but they weren't vegetarian, and I guess I kind of went off my diet, so this will bring me right back around.
This will bring you right back around. So you hear the sizzle. You see it's getting a nice orange color a little bit. That's what you're looking for, a little saute. We're going to get this, throw this up in here. We're going to let the cheese melt. Now, while that's melting, any questions you want to ask?
Chef, now how long does it actually take cheese to melt on something like this without any oil in it? Because a lot of people put stuff in the frying pan and it burns. So how long should we?
This will probably take about a minute because of the simple fact you just added a hot substance to the pan. Well, all you're looking for a quesadilla is for the bottom to be a little brown, and that's it. Once it's brown and crispy, I'm actually going to show you the end result. Brown and crispy, you see the brown edges, and what all I did was top this with a little bit of lettuce, sauce, or sour cream. So this is a nice, easy dish for the kids if you want to do something very simple.
Okay.
Or husbands or wives. If you want to surprise her, make her think you can cook.
I wish we could just plate this up and I could take it home to my wife and let her know that I made something.
Definitely.
For her.
This should be pretty much ready.
Okay.
We can see the cheese is now melted. Show you how to cut this. You see how I did that, right?
Wow. I have never, ever seen that done before. That's why we got Chef Leroy.
Thank you. You just cut this, and that's it. You have your chicken quesadilla, pretty much plated, and that's it.
Did you guys get that? Simple,
but elegant.
Simple and elegance. That's what I love.
Chef, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you.